Hi, welcome to Foreigner in the Philippines. Well, I guess we call this kind of a writer's special if you are into writing, be it letters or, I don't know, people these days don't seem to write quite as much, it seems to me, and so maybe this will be down to single-digit views, well, whatever. But anyway, I'm very interested in writing. I've written 3 books. They're on Amazon. You can find them on Amazon.com under the name Terence Flannery, and you can find those books. They're short stories. I actually started off really writing what I considered were, and my friends considered, entertaining letters to my friends. And I had one particular person that I always wrote to, and even thought of producing a book which would be called Letters to Billy, because my friend Billy always just was my audience. He laughed at most things. All right, maybe you shouldn't really need that, but when you start, you need every bit of encouragement you can get. And if he thought that something was funny, he would laugh. He was a guitar player in a band that I was in for many years, and he's not with us anymore, but he is sadly missed by me. I remember Billy very, very well. Thank you, Billy. Well, anyway, he in a way, even just with a few letters, nurtured a belief in me that maybe I could write. And I wrote collections of short stories, which were what I first called 5-minute reads. And I used to write these stories, which were always based on the truth, or usually based on the truth, or inspired by a true thing that happened to me. So I would then be inspired to write something that formed a story, and because I used to find that short stories were great for people who didn't want to sit down and couldn't face the idea of wading through page after page after page. Well, my stories always got to the point very quickly. They were usually funny, sometimes a little cathartic, and would raise a laugh and they would raise a tear. But mainly they would inspire in people a change in emotion and allow them to experience something briefly, fleetingly, that would entertain them in one way or another. Well, of course, I would find books to help me, and one of the books that I thought was a very, very good book was by Noel Lukeman. And Noel Lukeman, he was very highly recommended, and he wrote a book called The First 5 Pages, and the first 5 pages was a writer's guide to staying out of the rejection pile. So I thought that was a good one, and the writers group that I went into to help me when I was in Fort Myers, they also thought that too, and everybody actually was responsible for selling a load of books of this man, the first 5 pages. And in it he goes into, if you're not a writer, you're not going to be interested in any of this, but in the beginning there is a rejection letter from a Chinese publisher, from Louis Zukofsky's A. Apparently the book was A. I haven't read it, and ignorance is bliss. I hadn't actually heard of Mr. Zukofsky either. But this is one wonderful rejection letter which he's got, and not many people love a rejection letter, but this This I actually did because it was so beautifully put. So listen to this. Most Honourable Sir, we perused your manuscript with boundless delight, and we hurry to swear by our ancestors we have never read any other that equals its mastery. Were we to publish your work, we could never presume again on our public and name to print books of a standard not up to yours. For we cannot imagine for the next 10,000 years will offer its ectype. We must therefore refuse your work that shines as it were in the sky, and beg you 1,000 times to pardon our fault, which impairs but our own offices. Signed, the publishers. I love that. Were we to publish your work, we could never presume again on our public and name to print books of a standard not up to yours. For we cannot imagine that for the next 10,000 years will offer its ectype. We must therefore refuse. We must refuse your work that shines as it were in the sky, and beg you 1,000 times to pardon our fault, which impairs but our own offices. I thought that was pretty wonderful. This has been A Foreigner in the Philippines. This is a short writer's video, if you like. Thanks for looking in. Bye for now.